everybody, happy Tuesday. And since it's Tuesday, that means that I'm on Tumblr. So if any of you follow me on Tumblr, Katie Morton, and you ask me questions using the hashtag KatieFAQ, found them, and I've already been chatting with many of you on there. But today I have 3 questions as well as a journal topic from Waiting on the World to Change Forever. So thank you for that. And let's get going. These are very interesting questions and they're all over the board. I tried to make sure there's something for everybody. Okay, first question. Hey Katie, should I confront my parents about the emotional abuse they put on me in childhood? I'm 20 now and I don't live with them, but I still rely on them for financial aid. I'm not very close to them, but we are civil and we get along. I want to discuss this with them because I still go home for the holidays and have to interact with them, but I don't want this conversation to worsen our relationship. Now, I want to talk about this because of what I talked about yesterday. And my Monday video, if you haven't watched it yet, it's about forgiveness and acceptance. And part of what I sense in this question, and this I may be completely wrong, but obviously this isn't someone in my office where we can actually chat it out. It's just me reading a question, figuring out how I'm interpreting it, and then answering it to the best of my ability. So the way that I interpret this question is that the person really needs to express how upset this makes them. They really want to confront their parents in the hopes of potentially getting a "I'm so sorry, we're dickheads," or a let's work on this together, or if I go back and change the clock, any kind of thing like that. And I'm going to reference what I talked about yesterday in that forgiveness doesn't mean that we aren't angry. They don't have to be things that happen separately. They can happen together. We can forgive and we can still be angry, and that's okay. And I think part of what's driving and what drives many of our needs to confront people is anger and hurt. And I think it's fine to confront your parents or your family or friends or whoever if our goal doesn't rely on their response. If our goal is based on our need to express how we feel, our need to reach out and let them know how we feel, and that's it, if that's okay, then I say go ahead and talk to them. But the times that my clients end up confronting people when they're actually looking for an exact response or a certain type of response from the person is when it ends up making things worse for them, because then it's almost like we're re-injuring ourselves. And the way I talked about yesterday, how if we keep thinking about these painful experiences over and over, we're almost re-injuring ourselves every time we do that. And so when it comes to confrontation, I think it's totally healthy and fine as long as we're doing it for ourselves and it's not in any way focused on what their response may be. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of difficult sometimes for me to convey how I feel really shortly in a video, but that's why I would consider what you're wanting to get out of it and then go forward from there, okay? Question number 2. Hey Katie, what do normal or healthy people think about when their mind wanders into unconscious thought? What is there if healthy people aren't consumed with weight, calories, etc.? Like when you have time to think and just be and your mind wanders, what do you think about? What do healthy people think? I saw this type of thing in a quote and it hit me so hard. Just wondering if you have any tips for clients, for your clients of thinking normal. Now, I thought this was a good thing to bring up because it's something that many of us who are in recovery or working on recovery don't always notice. And I find when my clients are struggling, or maybe they should reach out for more help, or we should get them into a group, or I should see them twice a week, or whatever. This is one of the first things you can notice, is that when your mind wanders, it goes straight to your eating disorder, your self-harm, your negative body image voice, your depression, your anxiety voice, whatever kind of thoughts are going on in your head. It happens most when your mind wanders because we're not controlling the thought, right? And that's why I have you do a lot of, healthy voice to unhealthy voice conversations so that we notice it and we correct it. What do normal people think about? It depends on the day. For me, when my mind wanders lately, it's been in like work stuff because this is really busy and my practice is really busy. I have a lot of stuff going in all sorts of directions. And so my mind wanders to stuff like that, or Christmas and Thanksgiving because I love the holidays and I get really excited and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to make eggnog and I've never done that before. It's going to be so cool. So our minds wander based around what we're thinking about and what we're focused on. And so you can change your thoughts. That's the thing that's so great about being a human being is we can, once we gain the insight into what's going on in our noggin all the time, given we can't be 100% present in our brains or then we're not actually paying attention to what we're doing in our lives. But when you have the time to notice what's going on, We can talk back to that voice. We can change the way our brain goes and what it thinks about and the, you know, spiral kind of that we see it going, and we can change that and turn it around and make it positive and make it a good thing. If we notice we're, you know, focusing our negative attention on other people, we can change it to positive. Like, hey, that girl looks good, and hey, you know, she's really trying hard. I'm glad that she's working here, and we can change the way our brain works, and that's what makes us so amazing and such survivors. And so normal people are all of us, and we can all make our brains not focus on negative things, and we can turn around to focus on positive. So if any of you are wondering how to do that, or what I'm even talking about, check out my eating disorder workbook or my self-harm workbook. I have tasks in both of them. I think it's the first task in both, but correct me if I'm wrong. Kind of the negative thinking logs, where we log down what we're thinking and we talk back to it, and that can really change our world. Okay? Question number 3. Hey, Katie, is gender dysphoria a mental illness? I know it's a very, very real thing, and the dysphoria aspect of it can be very hard for trans people to deal with, but is it fair to say that the person has an illness for feeling like a different gender than the one that they were assigned at birth? I want to talk about this because I am, like I've talked about before, I do have some new books that I've received and workbooks, and I'm trying to put together kind of an LGBTQ workbook of my own, and I want to make sure I'm doing it justice. And so this topic really spoke to me, and I obviously looked into my DSM, and gender dysphoria is a diagnosis. However, in the description of how we even diagnose and the descriptive characteristic, the diagnostic features are focused on the dysphoria, that feeling of upsetness and anxiety and incongruence, and like you just aren't yourself. What you know you are is not what you look, and is not the way that people address you. And that dysphoria and disconnect can be so incredibly uncomfortable and difficult and frustrating, and make people feel hopeless if they don't have the options of surgery or what's the other one, like hormone treatments. There are a bunch of different things that we can do to change our gender. But often that's not available to people, or they're younger, or it's not an option financially. There's a bunch of different reasons why we can't make that happen. And so people feel really frustrated and difficult. It's just, I mean, imagine that feeling. And so yes, it is in the DSM, and I'm looking here at the specifiers and all of this stuff. But I think it's a focus on the dysphoria, and because that's so uncomfortable, they're labeling it as a mental illness. And if any of you have feedback on this or things you want me to talk about more, let me know below. I'm always open to what you guys are thinking and what is important to you, okay? Now, journal topic from Waiting on the World to Change Forever. Thank you for this. It's really cool. So she says, I was watching Super Soul Sunday on Oprah, and I heard this quote: "We are not on a journey like a train. A journey symbolizes that we will one day reach a destination, and a destination means the end. No more challenges. That's not true. We are sailing. We are sailboats, and we are hit by waves, some small and some big. I think we shouldn't be afraid of those waves. We should learn from them and accept the beautiful imperfection that is life. Stay strong, guys." I thought that was really cool, because it does say that, like, it makes sense that a journey is like we're in a train and we're going to reach our destination, but life is ever changing, and we're moving on to new things. We're trying different routes, and we are sailing around, and sometimes it'll be really stormy and really rocky and really difficult and like scary, but other times it'll be smooth sailing, like off the coast of Bali or something. So I want you to think about what that means to you. Are you in a rocky time? And what does that mean? And how can we maybe change our focus or change our goals to get us towards that smooth sailing? I love you all. I'll be on the website, katiemorton.com, tomorrow, and I'll be on YouTube as well. So ask your questions below today's video and on the website, and I will see you then. Have a good one. Bye.